Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Margarita and today I'm here to bring you a really big unhaul. So I just have a box stuffed full with books in front of me on my bed and let's just get into it. These are in no particular order. I'm just going to pull them out of the box as I go and I will tell you why I'm unhauling them as I go. So the first book is part of a series. The rest of the series that I own is also in this box. And that is The Necromancer by Johannes Cabal, The Necromancer by Jonathan L. Howard. And this book might look a little bit familiar if you've seen one of my last videos. This was in my most recent currently reading. And I picked this up hoping that it would be kind of spooky for October and the Halloween season. And I got about 60 or 70 pages in and I just don't care for the writing. It basically follows this guy, Johannes Cabal, who made a deal with the devil and sold his soul, and then a couple years later he goes back to the devil and says, I want my soul back. And the devil decides to barter it. So if Johannes can get 100 souls to sign over their souls to the devil, then he can have his soul back. So this is the first book in that series, and like I said, this is just really not for me. I wish I had known that, but I bought that on Book Outlet, and they also had these two books in the series. I think this is like book 3 and 4. So Johannes Cabal and the Fear Institute and the Brothers Cabal. And I'm just going to be getting rid of these. It's unfortunate because these covers are gorgeous, but I hated the main character. I didn't care about the story, and I'm not going to force myself to read something I don't enjoy. Those days are long past. So the next set of books that I have is also part of a series, and this might be a little controversial. But that is the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. I'm going to get rid of the whole series, not because I don't enjoy this series. I absolutely loved it. But I have not had the urge to reach for this and pick it back up in years. And if I want to reread it, I can always get it from the library. So I'd rather save space on my shelves for books that I really do want to read and reread. And this is not one of them at this moment. And again, if I do one day decide that I need to own these books again, I can go out and buy them. I loved the series, but I'm just not interested in owning the books anymore at this point in time. The next book that I have here, I could have sworn I got rid of this book years ago, but apparently not. That is the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks. This is a bind-up of all 3 books, and this basically follows our main character, Azoth, who is a street rat, an orphan, and he is taken on by the world's best assassin, who is Durzo Blint, and he becomes his apprentice, and that basically follows this story basically follows that. And him becoming an assassin as well. It's very good. I enjoyed it. I actually took this with me when I went to Europe. Don't ask me why. I took this giant ass book when I decided to backpack through Europe. That was crazy. But I'm not interested in rereading it right now, and if I am, I can always find it somewhere else. This takes up a lot of space on my bookshelves. There's something about Brent Weeks' writing that in the very beginning I don't really care, but at one point you just suddenly you're hooked and you don't know when that happened. But again, I've read this, I enjoyed it, I don't see myself rereading it anytime soon, so I want to get it off my shelves. The next book that I have is The Liar by Nora Roberts. Don't ask me where I got this book, I have no idea. I don't know what it's about, I have no interest in reading it, so I'm going to get rid of it. I know what it is. I've already filmed this book unhaul, so I'm like, I've seen all of these books. I've already done an unhaul on this, but no, you haven't seen it. I've never put it up. Okay, so the next book that I'm going to talk about is also part of a series, and that is The Storm Siren by Mary Weber, and then I'm also going to get rid of Siren's Fury and Siren's Song. This is all part of this trilogy. I did not care about this book whatsoever. It took so long to read. It's basically about this woman. She's an elementalist, you can tell by her hair, and they are outlawed in this world, but her country is at war with this neighboring country. So since she was a female, and there are almost never female elementalists, she was allowed to live, and now her country is trying to get her to help win the war, and it basically follows that. It was okay. I didn't care really, and the cliffhanger at the end I really did not care about. Like it had no urge to continue on with the series after that cliffhanger, so I'm just gonna get rid of it and call it a day. The next book is The Collector of Dying Breaths by M.J. Rose. I picked this up, I want to say this is about Catherine de Medici. I'm not sure. Yes, Catherine de Medici. And I was going through a phase of watching a lot of like historical fiction stuff, and I wanted to know more about Catherine de Medici, but my interest has since gone away. I'm not so interested in reading this book anymore, but I know there's someone out there who will be, so I'm getting rid of that. The next book that I have to talk about is The Laughing Corpse by Laurel K. Hamilton. I think that I have the first book. Yes. So this is the second book in her Anita Blake vampire series. I'm also getting rid of the first book. So basically these follow a vampire hunter, Anita Blake, and I didn't realize it as much reading this one, but I read this on audiobook and it was so bad. Like the actual writing is so bad, and I'm not interested. I'm just really, really, really not interested. And she's a necromancer and she helps solve these crimes, and she's like gotten tangled up in these vampires and they're werewolves and other types of were creatures. It's a very cool idea, and I liked the first book, but hearing it as an audiobook I realized how bad it really was, and I'm just not so much interested in carrying on. The next book that I have is The Sun, the Moon, and the Stars by Stephen Brust. I was really, really hoping to enjoy this and love it. I picked it up for a readathon and I got maybe 20 pages in and I said no more. So this book has been on my bookshelves probably the longest that I have not read. And like I said, I picked it up for a readathon because the back sounds amazing. It's about, there are these two different worlds. One is where the kingdom lives in darkness, for the sun, the moon, and the stars were hidden in a box, and that box was hidden in a sow's belly, and that sow was hidden in a troll's cave, and that cave was hidden at the end of the world. That sounds really cool. And then the second story is following our world, where there's this studio of artists, and it follows one of those artists, and somehow these two stories intertwine. And I just could not care less. It was so incredibly boring. And for such a short book, it's under 200 pages. For such a short book, again, I didn't want to force myself to read something that I'm not interested in. So I'm not going to do that anymore. The next book is The Stories of Brice DJ Pancake. This is a short story collection. Excuse me. I'm talking too fast. And, he is a native of West Virginia, which is a state that I'm near. Excuse me again. And these are his short stories. I believe that he committed suicide. And I started reading them and I just wasn't particularly interested in carrying on. So I'm going to get rid of this. Hopefully someone out there will really love it. The next book is Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. I know so many people absolutely love Shannon Hale. They love this story. I was not the biggest fan. I picked this up for a readathon also. I've had this book on my shelves for a really long time, which is why I wanted to pick it up. This was one of my 18 to read in 2018. And this is a fairy tale retelling, I guess, of the Goose Girl. And basically it's this princess who's married off to this neighboring kingdom, where the trip is like a month long to get there. And on the way, right before they get there, her maid and some of the guards kill the other guards, and the maid takes her place. So she needs to try and get her life back, I guess. It's okay. Not my favorite. I've since learned that it's part of a series. I'm not going to be continuing on with the series. It wasn't for me. And I love fairy tale retellings, but I was just not a fan of that one. We're almost done. I'm getting rid of a lot of series, it seems like. So the next series that I'm getting rid of, and this one was really hard for me because I loved the first book, and the second book was pretty good too, but the last one just ruined it for me. And that is The Looking Glass Wars by Frank Beddard. The first book is The Looking Glass Wars, then there's Seeing Red, and then there's Arch Enemy, which this is the book that just sucked. And this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it's very, very cool. There's the politics, and Alice is the queen of Wonderland because Wonderland is a queendom, so women run it. But her evil aunt comes and, you know, kills her family, and she has to be sent into the mortal world. And it follows that story. It was, the first 2 books were really great. I really enjoyed it. I found that the last book was just unnecessary. It didn't need to happen, and I didn't enjoy it. And I've contemplated keeping the first 2 books only, but I really just don't think I'm going to reread this series again. If I do, I can try and get the book somewhere else. But as of right now, I'm okay with letting them go. And then last but not least, oh no, I lied. There are two more. So the next book is The Red Queen by Philippa Gregory. This was also one of the 18 books that I wanted to read in 2018. I DNF'd this like 100 pages away from the ending. I made it through, what, like 300 pages, and I just couldn't make it through anymore. I hated this character. This is a historical fiction by Philippa Gregory about Margaret Beaufort. And I hated her as a character. I didn't care about her life. I just couldn't care less. So I'm getting rid of that one. Not interested. DNF'd. And the next 2 I did read, but I'm not going to keep. And those are the novellas that go with the Lunar Chronicles. So Stars Above and Fairest by Marissa Meyer. I read both of these. I enjoyed both of these, but I don't see myself going to pick these books back up. And if I do, I can get them from the library. But as of right now, I don't need them on my shelves. I'm not going to read them. I need to make room for lots of other books, as you'll see in the next video. So yeah, those are all of the books that I am unhauling. So let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, your thoughts and opinions on them, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!